myself, Tanya Smith at Get Noticed with Video. I'm excited to be here with you this evening, and our topic for tonight is going to be about Streamyard versus OBS. So, the question for you, and the question that we're going to basically try to answer this evening is which of the tools would be better for you depending on your needs? So, which one would you rather use for live streaming, OBS or Streamyard? These are two very popular tools or apps, and I'm going to do some comparisons of them. And hopefully, it will help you to make some decisions about your own choices. So, I will share with you that I'm actually using Restream with StreamYard this evening. So, that is the tool that I'm using to actually broadcast right now. I can see your comments if you are on my Facebook page, Mindfully Marketing, or if you're on Twitter, or on YouTube, or on Twitch. So if you're in multiple locations, the only place I cannot see your comments directly and display them on the screen is if you're in my Facebook group. Yes, alas, that's one of those things that we'll talk about when we talk about different features. So welcome, welcome, welcome this evening. Let's go ahead and a really quick intro video, and then I'll be right back. We'll give people a couple of minutes to join us so we can talk about StreamYard versus OBS. Which of the two apps is better for you? All right, here we go. All right, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. So we are live, and I see a comment. Hello, good evening, Pat. So there's one of the differences that I'll show you when I'm using StreamYard and Restreamio. I can't see your profile picture, but I can see your comments. I can see who you are and where you are. So thank you so much for watching. Again, feel free to say hello and let me know where you're from. Just like Pat, and good evening, Victoria. There's my friend Victoria is here as well. So there's several people that are on and watching from different locations. Evening. It's good to see you, Delana. Awesome sauce. All right, y'all. So this is a topic that's really kind of a hot button, I think, if you will, because I've had a lot of you ask, which one is your favorite, Tanya? Which one do you like the best? Do you like StreamYard a lot? Some of you who have been with me for a while know that I've been using OBS for many, many, many months, probably over at least a year, if not 2 years. And there are definitely some reasons why I've used OBS. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the two. And then what I want to share with you are my own personal thoughts about which one would be better for you depending on your particular needs and what you're doing with live streaming. So most of you are coming and you're watching this show every week with me because, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. You're watching the show because you're trying to learn about creating more strategy and systems around doing live streams. So you want to do more live videos for your own business. And so what my goal is here this evening is to share with you some tips and some things for you to think about in terms of the tool apps that we're going to review. There are definitely other apps that you can find out there. vMix is one that I actually own. It's very expensive. It's not one that I would highly recommend unless you know for sure you're going to be doing live streaming on a consistent basis. You're willing to invest the money and to invest the time in learning and understanding how to use it, because it can be a little bit more complex than the two apps we're going to talk about tonight. So I have a couple of slides that I'm going to pop up, and we're going to walk through these because I think that will help us to stay on track, so I can talk with you a little bit about some of the pros and cons, as well as some of the things I think that really stand out for each of these tools. And if we need to do a demo, we can certainly do a live demo. So depending on your questions, if you've got questions, just ask them because I can see them here. Now, if you're on Twitter, excuse me, the place to actually ask your questions so that I can see your comments would be in Periscope. So periscope.tv, and you'll find me there at Get Noticed Video. All right, so here we go. What I'm going to do real quick here is share my screen, and I'm going to pull up a slide, and then we're going to walk through a couple of things that I want you to know. And if, again, you have specific questions that I'm not answering, make sure you go ahead and put those into the comments so I can make sure to respond. And if I don't respond while we're live, I'll definitely be scanning through all of my different feeds afterwards, sometime this evening, and I'll respond to you then. All right, so OBS versus StreamYard, which one? Now, first of all, I want to tell you a couple of things about why I really, really like OBS. OBS has been my go-to. It's been kind of my stronghold for some time. And there are a couple of different reasons why. So let me blow this up a little bit. And I did kind of a screenshot. So if you haven't seen the OBS back office, this is, if you look in this monitor right here, this is kind of a good version, a display, a demo of what the back end of OBS looks like. Now, the thing is, I usually use it with Restreamio. And the reason for that, the reason I'm using Restreamio in the first place is that I want to be able to multicast. So I want to stream in the location where I'm broadcasting. So the one location I'm broadcasting right now is Facebook Live. But then I want that to multicast and to multi-stream to other locations like Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, etc. Because there are different audiences depending on the platforms, right? So different people like to watch from where they prefer to play. Not everybody's in Facebook, not everybody's on YouTube. So if you are able to multicast and to stream in multiple locations at one time, you have a potential to be able to grab a larger audience, right? Wherever they choose to be. So Restream, and the reason why I mentioned that for this image is because you'll see that I have two windows on either side of my OBS screen. Now, if I were inside of my OBS screen right now, it would look like this because I have Restream connected. If I didn't have Restream connected to OBS, these boxes on the left and the right would not exist. They wouldn't be there. Okay, so you just see the center image or whatever it is that you're broadcasting would show up in that center view. Now, here's the thing about it. OBS is free. It's free software to download, so it's not something that you have to purchase. You're not paying a monthly subscription. You basically go and you find it online and you download the software and you can instantly start using it. It's one of the reasons why OBS is one of the most popular when it comes to the live stream apps that are out there, because you don't have to pay for it. And there are a lot of different third-party services and vendors that have created tools and filters and add-ons that can work with OBS. So OBS is free. So that's a number one, I think, plus. I think you'll agree that you don't have to pay a monthly fee or any type of fee for that. The second thing that I love about OBS is that you are able to add multimedia. Now, what I mean by that is notice that there are several different areas or sections inside the OBS screen. I probably need to try to blow that up a little bit more, but I'm not sure if I can. So I'll kind of talk you through it. And if we need to, we'll do like a live demo of the back end of OBS. Okay. But what's cool about this is that you're able to literally add videos, images, other sounds, any type of media that you want to add, you can add to the OBS screen. So that makes it really, really, really handy, especially if you're looking into making your live stream more like a produced video, right? So it gives you a high quality production value when you're able to add different types of scenes and to transition and all these other things. And so that's another thing I'll mention is that it has very high quality transition capability. By that, what I mean is when you change from a scene to another scene. So you notice how a little bit ago, I played my intro video. When I played my intro video, what it did is it immediately cut back over to me. So you could see my face immediately after the video ended, and there was no transition. So it didn't do a fade, right? It wasn't smooth. It's just simply an edgy type of cut. That's because in StreamYard, you don't have that capability of being able to have those transitions. Whereas in a platform like OBS, you do. You can create a fade, so it really looks highly professional. And if you've never noticed this before, I want you to start paying attention to these things, because these are the things that either upgrade or kind of downgrade the way that your live stream looks. So it's very versatile. OBS is. Not only is it free, but it's versatile because it gives you options for you to be able to add all these different types of multimedia and those fancy transitions, right? In addition to that, there are other types of add-ons that you can add to your OBS. So if, for instance, you want to use a green screen, there's a green screen filter that you can add to it. But I tell you all this to say that if you're going to use OBS, yes, it's free, but it also requires that you take the time to really understand what it's capable of. It means that you're going to take some time to set it up. And every setup is not equally the same, because it's going to depend on the type of software and the type of computer system that you have, right? That will determine what your settings should be in the back end of your OBS. So to give you an example, one of the things that I really, really had to play with OBS, I had to play with sound, because initially when I first started broadcasting with OBS, my video would be talking like I'm talking right now, and my audio would be slightly behind. And so I had to adjust something called the bit rate. And there's all these different things that you're going to need to play around with and experiment with in order to make sure that OBS is working properly in the way that you want it to. So for those of you who have seen me over the years use OBS and use other tools, it has taken me time to get to a place where it looks really professional and it looks smooth as butter. It looks like it doesn't take any effort at all. But on the back end of that, it requires a bit of a learning curve. And you're going to have to take the time to understand your own system as well as the OBS software, and to know what your capabilities are, right? So one thing, for instance, that I ran into with the filters, with the green screen filter with OBS, is I kept having this issue where it looked like there were waves running. And so I fixed that by using it with other tools and third-party apps and all of this other stuff. So I'm saying all this to be very transparent with you, that sometimes free means you get what you pay for, right? That means it's going to take a little extra effort and a little bit more inconvenience if you're going to use that tool. So now I'm going to switch over to another slide, and we'll talk a little bit about StreamYard. I'm going to share with you a little bit of the difference there. So StreamYard does have paid plans. Now they have a free version. And again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to leave them for me. I can see them if they're in the Facebook page or if you're in Periscope and all these other sites. But otherwise, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. You can add limited multimedia. But let me back up again and talk about these paid plans. There's a free version of StreamYard that is available. And it's certainly worth a try if you're trying to look into the trial and to see whether or not StreamYard might be right for you. But it doesn't give you all the features that I believe you're going to need. You at least need the next level up, which I think is about $25 a month, right? In order to get the maximum benefit from using StreamYard. So I did upgrade to a paid plan and realized quickly that there were definitely more benefits to having the paid plan. You can add limited multimedia. What do I mean by that? So I showed you earlier, again, my little quick hitter video. That's my intro video that I use, right? I was able to add that into StreamYard. Now, my videos have to be, if I'm adding media in the form of a video to StreamYard, they have to be 30 seconds or less. That's important because in OBS, there is no limitation. You add what you add. So if you want to add a YouTube video that's 30 minutes long and that's part of your live stream that's ongoing for 8 hours or whatever that might be, you don't have that limitation. You do in StreamYard have the limitation in terms of the length of your multimedia that you're adding. There are not very many add-ons. Now, this is a blessing, and it could potentially a disadvantage, meaning that whereas I mentioned about OBS that you have all these different add-ons and different filters you can use, and you can change things up when it comes to colors and all this other stuff, StreamYard is pretty plain and simple. So what you see is what you get. Everything that you see in the settings is what you're going to get, right? And so one of the things that I think is positive about that is that that keeps things simple. So you're not worried about so much so having to go through this long learning curve of learning how to set it up and to get started. You can instantly, and most of the clients that I work with, where I'm working with them on choosing a live stream platform, they find it so refreshing because they literally can start and begin to live stream in the same day as they get the StreamYard account. So that's how simple it is. It's not a matter of you going and finding guides on Google or, searching for videos. You literally can start live streaming with StreamYard in minutes. So I think it's a plus in that they're all about keeping simplicity and making sure that you're able to live stream. If the goal is to be able to get on and to do your videos live and to be on camera or to do your interviews, then that is absolutely a plus when it comes to StreamYard. There are not transitions available. So I did mention this earlier, and there are not as many add-ons because what you see is what you get. But it is super convenient to be able to start in this way. Now, a couple of other things that you won't see on my slides, and so I'll move that out of the way real quick here. A couple of other things about the two. StreamYard is highly useful if you are planning to do interviews. As I was using OBS over the past year or longer, I didn't do a lot of interviews because it can be a little bit more frustrating and difficult to set yourself up in a way where you can actually pull someone else in on camera. So again, it requires more tweaking, it requires more studying and figuring out what needs to be set up. And you could, if you wanted to, marry your OBS to your Zoom. If you're using Zoom video conferencing, then that is an excellent way for you to actually be able to do interviews. But again, you're having to pull in other apps and other tools. Whereas with StreamYard, it is simply built into the app. So in StreamYard, you have the capability of being able to add multiple people to your screen as you choose. It doesn't require any special instructions, and you're not having to give people a whole tutorial on what they need to do in order to join you, and you're not having to add another third-party app. So these are some of the pros and cons as you're weighing out what you want to do and what you think you might want to do. All right. I see that comment there. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it's different depending on what you're trying to do with your live streaming. So here's what I would tell you in a nutshell. If you are someone who is willing to pay to have convenience and you want to keep your live streaming business and you want to keep your live streaming marketing for your business, you want to keep that simple and easy to do, I suspect that StreamYard is going to be probably the most effective for you because you have a short learning curve. You can get started pretty quickly. You have all the capabilities built right inside of the app. So I would highly recommend looking at StreamYard and doing a trial. And yes, I have officially made the choice to go ahead and start using StreamYard as my official live streaming platform because of all the reasons that I mentioned to you. However, you can't go wrong either way. If you are a person who decides you prefer free because you're paying out with a bunch of other monthly, subscriptions for your business, you're really trying to keep things low budget right now, you are taking the time and you're investing the energy in learning the capabilities of OBS, if you're a little technical and you're ready for it, and I see a note from Delana. Yeah, I've been using StreamYard for about 2 months and I can't see the rest of your comment there. So make sure you let me know what the rest of that comment is. I'm curious. But if you are interested in taking the time to learn the tech and to get really comfortable and familiar with and to experiment until you get your OBS set up properly, if you're willing to do all of those things, then OBS is absolutely one that you can still do very well with. Everything you stated is, I don't know why it's breaking you up in bits and pieces, girl, but I think you're saying everything I'm saying is right. You've been using StreamYard for about 2 months. Yes, it is. It's been refreshing. It saved me a ton of time. And let me tell you something else that I didn't say that I definitely need to say, because this actually happened last week. And those of you who were watching last week did not notice. I probably blinked and you didn't notice that I had a little bit of a tiny micro pause. It's because there was someone who was typing really profane again. Somebody was typing some profane comments into the system and you couldn't see them. One of the reasons you couldn't see them is because I chose not to display them. So when I use OBS and I was using the Restream chat, I did like the fact that it was automatically flowing. So you just kind of see this constant flow of comments, right? Almost like an automated news feed. I did like that feature. What I didn't like is when people would show up that I was not happy about showing up, who were trying to derail the conversation with something negative or something profane. And so using OBS and using the Restream chat in that way, I hope you have an amazing day too, Maximilian. But using OBS and using the chat stream in that way was nice in that you can see the constant flow of conversation, but it wasn't as easy to manage the comments. So last week when I had the comment pop up into my queue, like I'm watching right now, various comments coming through, I get to choose, I have control, and I get to choose what I show on screen and what I don't. And so I chose not to derail my own conversation last week by showing that comment. So let's see some notes. Pat, I'm just starting out and StreamYard sounds good for me. I am a true newbie, terrified of going live. Well, Pat, I'm going to be here to hold your hand. And hopefully, if you just join us every week, we're going to have some tips to help you not be so afraid and fearful. Because that's what this is all about, is helping you to feel more confident about doing more live streams. I do think StreamYard is excellent for people who are beginners. And Sherelle said, I missed the beginning. I can't wait to go back and catch the beginning. You know, girl, if you have questions right now, I will answer your questions right now. I will go ahead and tell you that I've shared that I am definitely choosing StreamYard at this time over and above every other tool. And trust me, I've tried a whole lot of live streaming tools. I've tried some really, really super expensive ones that I kind of regret that I invested in. And then I've tried some that were not so expensive and that were cheap and free, like OBS, right? I still love OBS, and I think it's an excellent choice for those of you who choose to use it. I think that you have to commit, if you're going to use it, commit to learning the platform and learning all the features, right? Commit to learning how to adjust and adapt your bit rate for your audio so that your sound is in sync with your video. I think you're going to have to do some testing. I think you're going to have to make sure that you do everything that you need to do. Somebody's saying they see my stream on a McDonald's restaurant. I'm not sure if I understand that one. But anyway, there's lots and lots and lots of things that you can do with OBS and make your stream look super professional and have all the great transitions and the flow and use multimedia and all of those things. So please don't rule it out if that's something that you're interested in using. But I think that, and I converted you too. It is saying something, Sherelle, because honestly, I was not sold on StreamYard. When I first started using it, I was like, no, it's okay, I'm good. And part of the reason I was good is because I'm like, shoot, I'm free right now. I have OBS. I'm free, and everything is put in all the different locations that I needed to be put, and it's all flowing well, and it looks professional. And I've done all the work to learn how to stream, so hey, it's working. That was my thinking. But when I started using StreamYard, and it cut down on so much of the time that it was taking. So one of the things that it cut down on time for me doing, you know how I just showed you my slides, right? So I was kind of showing you, and I'm going to add that real quick to this, which I love. I still like doing slides. I still like doing demos, and I will continue to do demos because a lot of us are visual learners and we love visuals, right? Visual aids to help us to learn and to do the things that are being demonstrated on screen. But I also like that it gives me the capability inside of StreamYard before I come on live to just go in and type in what my banners are going to be, for instance. So look, I can type that right there, or I've typed that in advance. And now I can pop this banner up that says, here's a link to StreamYard to go try out StreamYard, right? I can do that in seconds. And so I love the capabilities that StreamYard is giving me without me having to do a lot of extra work and to take a lot of time. So that is the number one reason why I have decided to go ahead and go with StreamYard and to stick with it. Charvette, yes. OBS, I know. I do love OBS still, Charvette, but I am loving, like to no end, StreamYard. And I am a converted fan now. So I'm officially a paid user of StreamYard because in the end, the annual fee isn't even that bad. I think it's like $240 for a year, and you can do this with Restreamio. So here's two things that you should know about StreamYard when you're restreaming. So one of the things, and you just asked that question, how are you liking Restreamio? So here's what I would tell you. StreamYard has built-in multi-streaming capability. So you don't even have to have a Restreamio account, okay? You do not have to have that in order to stream to multiple platforms. That's important for you to know because if you purchase StreamYard and you get the level that I've been talking about, the one that's like $25 a month or $240 a year, if you get that one, I believe you can stream to at least 2 additional places. So I'm on Facebook Live, and I can then stream to Twitter, and I think maybe 2 platforms is max. If you purchase their premium level, which is the next level up and a little bit more expensive, you can multi-stream to a lot of different places. But again, there's that cost involved. But you don't have to use any other apps. You can do so from right inside of StreamYard, multi-stream to all these different platforms that you've chosen. What I like about Restreamio, and the reason why I use Restreamio, there's a couple of different reasons. Restreamio is possible to use still with StreamYard at that $25 a month level. So that's a plus. Restreamio gives you the capability of being able to multi-platform stream as well, to Twitch, YouTube, multiple groups and Facebook pages, all these different locations that you choose inside of Restreamio. I purchased the lifetime version of Restreamio when it first came out because I was an early adopter, and I typically am for these type of tools. So I got a really sweet deal, and I don't have to pay for Restreamio again. So that's something you're going to want to think about if you're thinking about streaming to multiple places and you do not have a Restreamio account. You'll want to look at, is it at a good enough deal right now? Because Restreamio always has deals. They have something going on right now, I'm pretty sure of. But is that where I want to invest my money? Or do I want to just go ahead and invest and go to the next level of StreamYard and be able to multicast anyway? Okay. So if you already own Restreamio and you don't have an ongoing subscription fee, or it's not that expensive because you got in at the right time, then absolutely you can use your Restreamio with StreamYard. The only caveat to that is when you're logging into StreamYard, you can only choose Restreamio as the platform. And then Restreamio is responsible for going to the other accounts. Okay. So I like, hey, Lulu, it's good to see you from YouTube. All right. I see a couple of other comments here too. Let's see. Let me put Sherelle. Haven't figured out how to see the comments and the banners at the same time. Yep. You have to kind of switch back and forth. So you can, because on the side of the back end of your StreamYard account in the dashboard, what you're going to see is that there are several different options. And so what you'll get proficient at doing the more live streaming you do is you'll get proficient at going in between the different settings and features as you need to. Okay. You'll learn the dashboard, you'll get comfortable with the dashboard, and then you'll be a pro. I promise. It may take a little time. And if you are someone who is that person that really you just need to focus on only speaking, then definitely think about having a team member added who can then control, work the controls and work the back end. That goes for OBS as well. So that's something to think about for those of you who have a team or a team member. You can always have your team member help you out with your live streams by managing the back end. So there are options. Just switch between comments and banners. There's always, if someone is commenting, there's going to be a little flag, a little red flag that shows up on the comments box. That way you know, hey, I need to switch over to the comments to see if there are new comments that are popping up. So lots and lots and lots of different things that you can do with these two pieces of software. But again, if I had to recap, for those of you who are coming on late, if I had to recap, I would say, StreamYard is great for you if you're new to live streaming and you want things as simple as possible and you're willing to pay for the convenience. OBS is great for you if you prefer, if you're the free is for me person and you prefer to take the time to learn the tech, then OBS can certainly work. I personally, as techie as I am, and trust me, I can learn tech in minutes or seconds and spit it back out at you. That's kind of one of my gifts. But as many of the different platforms as I've used, I've decided to go ahead and go with StreamYard because I love the simplicity and it saves time. And time is money for us business owners, right? Awesome sauce. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes. So if there are any other questions, I'm looking to scan through multiple pages. I see some on YouTube. Thank you so much for that comment and letting me know. I was pulling up on screens and I don't know how I was pulling up on screens in McDonald's. That's funny, but cool. All right. I don't see any other questions that are displaying right now. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a wrap. But I appreciate you guys. And I am just so, so thrilled to hear from you about which one you're choosing to use. So let me know. Let me know. If you're going to try StreamYard, then definitely you want to kind of check out StreamYard. Here's a trial. You can go to tanya.click/StreamYard and get your free trial so you can check it out. Or definitely, if you're going to be using OBS, I have a webinar that's going to be coming up in the month of March, and I'm going to talk about OBS there for those of you who are choosing to use that and to understand the tech, right? So again, it's just about a matter of time and making sure that you're investing in learning how to use the tech if you're going to use OBS. All right. Let's see. There are a couple of really quick comments. You're welcome. Always a pleasure to learn so much, and always a pleasure to have you, Miss Victoria. Same thing. Sold on StreamYard. Me too. You're welcome, Sherelle. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching, y'all, and have an amazing rest of the week. Oh, by the way, let me just make this really quick comment and just tell you I'll be safe out there. I see a note from Pat. My business is product based. Do you think going live would be good for me? Also, I love questions. So let me try to answer that as quickly as I can. I would say, Pat, it depends. So there's a couple of things you want to think about if you're going to consider going live. One is that you want to make sure you're considering your audience. So who is the typical audience for you What is their preference when it comes to learning about your product? Do they prefer to engage with you on an interactive level? Because a lot of people do love the interaction of live streaming. They love that they ask a question and it's being answered in real time. I love that. It energizes me to be able to talk with you and to answer your questions and to do these type of events, because having that audience really reacting in real time just gives you that extra boost versus you being a talking head and lecturing, right? So you really want to kind of play around with that and see. Oh, that's okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. Sherelle, I saw your note. Um, I think that you can experiment, Pat, because I think that everyone has an opportunity to experiment with live streaming and to see if it's going to work for you and for your audience. If you have an audience that prefers to listen in the car, then podcasting may be an option you want to think about. If you have an audience that prefers to read, right, on their own, then blogging with text-based type of content may be more preferred. But personally, I've found that live streaming can work just across almost any niche. So it's all definitely a matter of experimenting. All right, that is all the time I have. So I've got to jet so I can get my child to her soccer practice. And I hope that you all will just stay safe out there and make sure you're paying attention and you're keeping yourself sanitized and hygienic. Because honestly, I picked up a virus myself a couple of weeks ago and it lasted for a while. And I'm still recovering on some level from that and from allergies. So just wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands, and take care of yourself. All righty, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of the week. And I will see you this time next week for our next live. All right, 5:30 p.m. on Thursday. See you back here.